Hi everyone, today we'll discuss anatomy of the parotid gland. Welcome to my channel for range of topics from various subdivisions of the anatomy. Subscribe and share. So, coming to the parotid gland, it is one of the largest salivary glands. Parotid means, para means around, otai means ear. So, parotid gland is gland present around the ear and it is located in the parotid region or parotid mold, we say, formed anteriorly by the mandible, above by the external acoustic meatus, and behind by the mastoid process with sternocleidomastoid, and medially by the styloid process. So you can see here, it is a inverted pyramidal gland occupying the region and forming the borders and surfaces by the molds of surrounding structures. You can see meatus, mandible and mastoid process, and it is covered by two coverings, false capsule and true capsule. False capsule is formed by splitting of the deep cervical fascia there. The superficial layer is called as parotid fascia. Deep fascia is thin and attached to the styloid process, and it presents following parts: apex, base, three borders and three surfaces. You can see three borders there: anterior border, posterior border and medial border. Three surfaces: lateral or superficial surface, anteromedial surface and posteromedial surface. Base is above, apex is down. Now a task for you to understand the presenting parts. Take a paper and fold it like how you make a rocket. I think you all know how to make a rocket. So you can see the rocket there. The tip of the rocket is apex, or point of the rocket is apex of the gland. Hold it upside down like the parotid gland. It is a inverted pyramid. Base is above, apex is below, and hold like that. So you can see base is above the superficial surface, and this is the deep surface showing anteromedial surface and posteromedial surface. For a clear view now, you can see this is the superficial surface of a right parotid gland. In paper we are seeing right parotid gland, that is the base, apex, that is the superficial surface or lateral surface, we say. Anterior border related to mandible, posterior border related to mastoid process and sternocleidomastoid. You can see there. And as you turn the paper to the deep surface there, we are talking, that is the base above, which is the open part in the paper, that is the base, anterior border, posterior border. And when you turn like this, you are seeing the deep surface of the right parotid gland, and you can say that now you can observe here the base is there, that is the anterior border, posterior border, and here comes the medial border, which is wedging between the mandible and mastoid. That is the medial border, anterior border, and this one is posterior border. And now you can see the surfaces. This is the anteromedial surface between medial and anterior border, and posteromedial surface between the medial and posterior surface. So you are seeing the deep part, hidden part of the right parotid gland, posteromedial and anteromedial surfaces. So these are the presenting parts of the parotid gland. And when you see in this model here, you can see a pair of parotid glands, one on each side. That is, you can see the parotid gland is occupying the parotid region. Now you are seeing the left parotid gland here. So whatever the model you made with the paper, it is the right parotid gland, and here you can see the parotid region, how it is formed by the bones. So parotid gland is a pulpy mass occupying this region, and the presenting parts and the processes are formed by invagination of this pulpy mass into surrounding bony mold. So it is covered by parotid fascia, which is nothing but a investing layer of deep cervical fascia. Superficial part is attached to the zygomatic arch above. Deep lamina attached to the styloid process and forms a stylomandible ligament. And you can see here the surrounding bones, you can see. So behind you can see the mastoid process with that is the part of temporal bone, external acoustic meatus above, and anteriorly mandible. Remember MS Dhoni, MSD. So mandible, mastoid and meatus, anteriorly, posteriorly above, and styloid process and digastric medial and below. So parotid mold is formed by MSD, 3M, 1S, 1D. You can remember like that. MS Dhoni. So this parotid gland is occupying this region. I already told you it is surrounding the ear. That's why it is called as parotid gland, and it is supplied by the otic ganglion. Oti means again ear. Ganglion supplying around the ear is called as otic ganglion. And here you can see the bony parts and facial disposition here. That is the meatus, mastoid process, styloid process, and you can see the mandible here, and you also can see the deep lamina of the parotid fascia, which is thin and forms the stylomandibular ligament. Stylomandibular ligament separates the parotid gland from submandibular gland. You can see there. So this is about the location, parotid region. What is the shape of the gland? Inverted pyramid, having apex, base, 3 borders, anterior, posterior and medial, 3 surfaces, superficial, anteromedial and posteromedial surfaces. Here you can see again how it is related to the mandible and structure attached to mandible. Masseter and medial pterygoid, posterior to the mastoid and its attachments. The base is there above, and this is the apex here, and you can see the anterior border, the posterior border. You can see the parts, and where it is invaginating between the posterior border of the ramus of the mandible and mastoid process and styloid process, it has a medial border and 2 surfaces, anteromedial and posteromedial, as we have seen in the paper model. Please make that, you will see, you can appreciate that. Okay, so this is about the location, shape, coverings, and it weighs around 25 grams in weight. Now coming to the presenting parts and relations. Now we are seeing the right parotid gland here, so that we can have a visualization of both sides. Now you can see there, this is the right parotid gland covered by the parotid fascia, which we are taking now. And now when you zoom it, you will see again the different parts. So now you will see the relations of different parts. You can see how it is overlying the masseter and mandible. It overlaps over them. Then you can see posterior is related to the posterior belly of digastric and stylohyoid muscles and sternocleidomastoid muscle there. So it is overlapped over these muscles, and its contour and shape formed by the surrounding structures. Majority of the time it is inverted pyramid, but it doesn't have any definitive structure. And you can see the parotid duct, which is formed by 2 vertical ducts, and it is leaving the parotid gland across the anterior border. It crosses across the anterior border of masseter, piercing buccopharyngeal fascia, buccal and buccal pad of fat, opens just opposite to the crown of the upper second molar tooth. It's also called as Stenson's duct. Sometimes stone may lodge there, but parotid duct is not prone for the stones. Submandibular duct is, because parotid is a serous salivary gland. So you can see now the relations of the apex. You can see how the posterior belly of digastric is there. So this apex of the parotid gland may encroach into the carotid triangle, and you can see there common facial vein is there, and you are seeing that muscle, and in front of that muscle you are seeing anterior division of the retromandibular vein. The retromandibular vein has 2 divisions, anterior and posterior. Anterior division will go and form the common facial vein along with the angular vein, whereas posterior division will join with postoauricular vein to form external jugular vein. So you can see here in this isolated view, you can see the cervical branch of facial nerve and anterior division of retromandibular vein passing through the apex. So 2 structures are related there, and you can also see part of common facial vein now, how it is there. So apex of the parotid gland is related to the cervical branch of facial nerve and anterior division of retromandibular vein, whereas the base is related to the these superficial temporal vessels with their branches. Remember, the base is related to temporal structures, superficial temporal, auricular temporal nerve, temporal branch of facial nerve, that is the auricular temporal nerve, and these are transverse facial vessels coming from superficial temporal vessels. And you also can see temporal branch of facial nerve there. So you are seeing the superficial temporal nerve with their branches, auricular temporal and temporal branch of facial nerve. So these are the structures related to the base. Whereas apex, cervical branch of facial nerve and retromandibular vein, anterior division. Coming to the lateral surface or superficial fascia, what you see here, skin, superficial fascia and parotid fascia, or we also call it as parotidomasseteric fascia. It is thick and parotid swelling may be painful because of that. In case of mumps and all, the parotitis, it is painful because parotid fascia is thick, superficial layer, deep layer is thin. You can see there the superficial fascia with the fat, and then the parotidomasseteric fascia. It covers both parotid gland and masseter. That's what is called as parotidomasseteric fascia. Below you are seeing, below and anteriorly you are seeing some part of platysma attached to the base of the mandible. That is the platysma, you can say that, highlighted now, and remaining part of the parotid fascia is removed. So parotid fascia forms the false capsule, whereas true capsule is formed by the condensation of the connective tissue of the gland. You can see how the gland is having a granular appearance. It is a pulpy mass. You are seeing the right parotid gland, relations of the lateral surface. Now coming to the structures related to the anterior border. Already have seen the parotid duct is coming from the anterior border. So anterior border is related or overlying this masseter muscle. But you can see the structures coming from the anterior border are zygomatic nerve, upper buccal nerve, parotid duct, lower buccal nerve and marginal mandibular. So zygomatic, upper buccal, lower buccal and marginal mandibular and cervical, they are branch of facial nerve, terminal branches. Those structures are related there. You can see in this isolated view the branches of facial nerve, like a crow feet. You can see the branches of facial nerve. And coming to the structures related to the posterior border. Posterior border, what you will see, posterior auricular vessels, posterior auricular nerve, which is a branch of facial nerve, and you will see posterior belly of digastric and sternocleidomastoid muscle there. So these are the structures coming across or related to posterior border. You can see neurovascular bundle there. Posterior auricular artery is a branch of external carotid. And coming to the anteromedial surface, that is the deep surface. Anterior part, remember 3 M's, simple, masseter, mandible and medial trigger, from outside to inside. You will see, as we have already seen, it is overlapping the masseter muscle of mastication, and it is related to ramus of mandible. Ramus of mandible, the outside surface gives attachment to masseter, inside surface gives attachment to medial trigger. You can see 3 M's there, and you can see now, if you turn it anteriorly, you can see the masseter, ramus of the mandible and medial trigger. M, masseter, mandible, medial trigger. These are the relations of anteromedial surface. Remember like that. Coming to the relations of the posteromedial surface. So posteromedial surface, I will tell you one easy way. Remember 2, 3, 4, 2 vessels, internal cavitary artery and internal jugular vein, 3 bony processes. What are those? This mastoid and styloid, and one more is lateral process of atlas, and 4 nerves, 4 cranial nerves, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can see there internal cavitary artery, internal jugular vein, and that is the sympathetic plexus surrounding the internal cavitary artery. We have discussed about the internal cavitary artery in the last video. So hypoglossal nerve, that is the glossopharyngeal. Accessory is there, 11th nerve, and behind the thick nerve is vagus nerve. So 9, 10, 11 coming out of the jugular foramina related medial to the styloid process and also to the posteromedial surface of the parotid gland. So while operating on the parotid, you should be very, very careful because the posteromedial surface is related to very important structures, 2 big vessels and 3 bony processes with their attachments. Already you know the attachments of styloid process and mastoid process, and 4 important cranial nerves, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if you isolate these parts, you can see there now That is the started process. The arrow is pointing started process with its attachments. Started apparatus, also called as the Rayleigh bouquet. You already know about it. So this is the view showing the relations of posterior surface. Simple. Remember the mnemonic 2, 3, 4. 2 vessels, 3 processes, and 4 cranial nerves. Anteromedial surface, 3 M's. So it is easy peasy. Pituitary gland, we are having this discussion here. You can see 2, 3, 4. So these are the relations of posteromedial surfaces. So we have discussed structures related to apex, base, anterior border, posterior border, lateral surface or superficial surface, anteromedial surface. Now posteromedial surfaces. So these are the relations of the parotid gland, and the parotid gland itself doesn't have any definite shape. It is a pulpy mass occupying the mold of surrounding bones. So you can see now if you take a transverse section across the right parotid gland, you can see the medial border is there, invaginating, related to the pharynx, and you can see structure passing through the parotid gland are 3 structures: retromandibular vein, external cavitary artery, and facial nerve. From superficial to deep, facial nerve, retromandibular vein, external carotid artery. From deep to superficial, remember AVN, artery, vein, nerve, from deep to superficial. And facial nerve divides the gland into 2 parts, superficial part and deep part. In case of superficial parotidectomy, we should be very careful. We are removing the gland which is superficial to this facial nerve. So you can see here how the structures pass through this gland between mastoid and mandible, passing through the gland, how the facial nerve is dividing into 2 trunks, this temporofacial and cervicofacial trunks. And gland has several processes, as you can see, temporal process, and one more is in front of the meatus, glenoid process, facial process, pterygoid process, carotid process. These are the different processes of the gland, sometimes exercise processes. These are the different projecting parts, you can say. It's a pulpy mass, encroach wherever a space is there. And you can see parotid gland as a whole here with its nerves, vessels. Above you can see superficial temporal artery there. In front you are seeing duct and branch of facial nerve. Below you are seeing also the cutaneous nerves. And the nerve supply of the pituitary gland, it is being a gland, it is supplied by parasympathetic ganglion, that is otic ganglion. It receives the fibers from inferior salivary nucleus present in the upper part of the medulla and passes through glossopharyngeal nerve, tympanic plexus in the middle ear, then lesser petrosal nerve. How does lesser petrosal nerve comes here? Via foramina ovale, remember male. Then it joins the otic ganglion, those are the pre-ganglionic pathway. And you can see dotted blue line there, that is a post-ganglionic pathway is carried by auriculotemporal nerve, branch of posterior division of mandibular nerve, supplying the gland. And here the red dotted line carrying the posterior post-ganglionic sympathetic fibers from superior cervical ganglion. So sympathetic is vasomotor, where parasympathetic is secutomotor. That's all about pituitary gland. Thank you. Learning never stops.